Hey y'all, it's your girl Zoe. So today we're doing a Sims 4 speed build. We are going to replicate a house from the original Sims game. It is going to be the house none other than 6 Sim Lane, which is the house I would play in all the time when I was little. My Sims would just, be really poor and live paycheck to paycheck. So this house was the only one they could really afford. But without further ado, let's replicate 6 Sim Lane in The Sims 4. So I chose to build this house in Newcrest, which I thought resembled the neighborhood from the original Sims game the most. And I was like trying to figure out which lot to put it on. And I tried some lots in Willow Creek, but I ended up with building this house in Newcrest. This lot especially, which is right near the golf course, I just felt like it gave me the original Sims vibe the most. In building 6 Sim Lane, I feel like is the most iconic house from the original Sims game. Well, maybe not the most iconic house, but like the one that I played in the most, because playing the original Sims game back in 2000, I was like 7 years old. So a 7-year-old didn't really understand what a cheat code was. So it took me a couple years to figure out there was this little cheat code called Rosebud, which gave you unlimited money, obviously. And it took me a couple years to figure that out. So I was stuck playing this house for the longest time, but it's okay. My little gay sim that I would always play, he ended up okay. He lived his life, his true authentic self, and that's what matters the most. So when trying to replicate houses from previous Sims game, there's always like this dilemma with choosing items in The Sims 4 because we don't have the customization tool like we did in The Sims 3, where you could just pick an item and then choose what color and what style you want, which was amazing, even though it became really glitchy in the end. So with The Sims 4, you basically just have to choose, do you want to match the color or do you want to match the style? A miracle might happen where you can get both that's similar. So as you can see, me trying to match the wallpaper in the original house, which was like this bluish bow tie wallpaper. I was almost going to pick a Realm of Magic wallpaper, but I wanted to stay true to like a building, at least the like build options with only base game. So I decided just with this base game flower wallpaper that like kind of gave me like starter home vibes. So I just ended up with this wallpaper, which I think looked fine. Like it's probably a type of ugly wallpaper you would expect in like your very first house. And surprisingly, there was the carpets that matched in the original build. So with the furniture, I did end up using some other items other than base game, but which was really interesting when placing lighting. In the original 6 Sim Lane, there was only like standalone lamps, which was weird because usually you would think that like there at least be, a ceiling light in the bathroom, but long and behold, there's a stand-up light in the bathroom, so that was a little odd. And trying to figure out the bed situation in the bedroom, I ended up with a tiny living bed, which actually fit the best because there were some other options that like the frame fit the most. But again, this is the dilemma with The Sims 4. Do you want the color or do you want like the style to match the most? So I decided with the style, and I chose that tiny living bed, which fit almost perfectly in my opinion. And going into the kitchen, I was going to do some base game countertops, but I found the tiny living one, not the tiny living, I'm so sorry, the island living countertops, which had that like blue top with the wood bottom. But oh my god, building this house brought back so many memories when I would play this. Back in the year 2000. Oh my god. If you haven't checked out my 20th anniversary like video of how I talked about gay and trans representation in the Sims franchise, definitely go check that out. I speak about like how this game has really impacted my life and like how it was so nice playing this game and like being able to like play as a gay person, because you didn't really see that on TV. So I was able to like see myself represented in this game. And I would always have my little gay sim play in this house for like 2 years before I learned how to use the money cheat system. But yeah, I just brought back so many memories building this house. I'm now onto the outside of this house, and so this is really creative, I thought. There's no like tile that actually matched with like the white trim. So what I did is I took the Strangerville, I think it was the Strangerville fencing, it was like the invisible fencing, and I outlined every single tile to give it a like a white trim, and then you just put a regular cement in the tiles, and voila, you get the most replicated outside patio like you would in the original build. So that's a cute little not cute, but that's a nice tip. But if you don't have Strangerville, then just use any cement. The one nice thing about building this house, though, I didn't have to worry about move objects because there was no such thing in the original Sims game. So when I was building the garden, I just sized down some flower plants and just placed them down in the square tile. And now I'm just decorating the outside, trying to replicate the trees as much as I could with sizing some items down, as you can see here. But I think I did the best job as I could to make this house look almost exactly like it is in the original build. So a nice finishing touch I did for the landscape. I built a fake sidewalk on the side of this house, because in the original Six Sim Lane, it was like on the corner of the street where you first enter the neighborhood. So to kind of replicate that as much as possible, I built that fake sidewalk. So I thought that was a nice touch. But if you can see right beside the sidewalk, there's like this little dirt trail where Sims will actually walk up and down. So again, I thought that this placement of this house was like the most similar to the original build. And going into the front of the house, because Sims 4 does not have a mail system, there's no mailing, there's no mail, I went ahead and put the trash can and the mailbox in the front to make it look most like the original build. And I put in some newspaper, like some like, actually, what is it called? I don't know. I think it's from City Living. It's like little bills to replicate the newspaper that you get in the original Sims game. So I thought that was a cute little touch just to really get the essence of the original Sims game. And that kind of concludes the end of this speed build. So I'm going to do a quick little tour before we officially end this video. All right, so starting off the tour, I just want to point out how perfect this lot was to build the Six Sim Lane house in, because this little entrance to the neighborhood looks almost exactly like the neighborhood from the original Sims game. Like, look at the little curve entrance. It's the first lot when you enter the neighborhood, and then one to the other lots. But yeah, I thought that this lot right here was just, it was so perfect. Especially putting that little touch of sidewalk really just brought in the essence of the original Six Sim Lane. As I said, you know, when building and replicating houses in The Sims 4, you have to choose, do you want to match the color more or the style more? So I end up with this front door and then these windows, because there was windows that kind of matched the style of the original Six Sim Lane house, but they were way too big. I mean, those windows were like as big as the door, so I ended up with these small windows just because these small windows fit like the starter home aspect much more than the other ones. This house is literally so dark because the only lights that were in the house are these standalone lamps, which makes no sense even in the bathroom. But this is the open floor plan of the living room and the kitchen. We have the island living countertops, the blue fridge. So like I said, this is the wallpaper I ended up with. Not anything really like the wallpaper of the original Six Sim Lane house, but there was nothing that matched the bow tie wallpaper, so I ended up with this one. And we don't have house phones in The Sims 4, and in the original Six Sim Lane house there is a little house phone there. To put something in replace of that house phone, I put a thermostat, so you know it's a electronic device. It's just not a phone. Going into the room, we have the lovely blue carpet, which matches perfectly to the original build. And then we went with the tiny living bed. Now, like I said, there was other beds that matched the bed more, like the frame more of the original build, but there was no swatches that matched because the tiny living bed was the one that matched the color the best, so I chose that one instead. Honestly, if you don't have tiny living, just honestly any bed will do. I used a university shower with the wooden toilet. I just realized that there's no sink in this bathroom. The original Sims houses were really weird, and they're very, very minimal. So this house is very minimal. Maybe I should do like a renovating Six Sim Lane to really update this house into modern times of The Sims 4. Going on to the outside, like I said, if you want to get that nice white trim around the cement, you have to put in like the Strangerville, I think it's Strangerville, the Strangerville flat fencing, so you can kind of get that original look of the pavement out here. And I sized down a couple of the flower beds to match the very, very square-like garden from the original build. But if that doesn't look like the original garden, like that looks almost exactly like it. So yeah, just size some of the bushes down and you will get the exact replication of this house. So that ends our quick little tour of Six Sim Lane. Like I said, if you want me to do a renovation of this house to put more furniture in, because this house is very, very lacking in furniture, let me know and I will do that. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this speed build and a little tour of Six Sim Lane, which was a build replica of the original Sims game. I'm thinking about doing a let's play of my like little gay sim that I used to play in when I was like 7 years old. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I might just do it anyways because I think that would be a cute little idea. It'll bring back a lot of memories. But definitely give this video a thumbs up and like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out my other Sims 4 videos, which I will leave a playlist in the link below. And if you haven't seen my like gay and trans representation of The Sims game explanation video, 20th anniversary celebration video, whatever you want to call it, I'll leave that video in the link below too. Check that out. And I'll see y'all later. T-dubs. Come on.